What's up, Netrunners? Welcome back to another episode of PeachHack from North Georgia Netrunners. My name is Ben, and we are back at Raven's Nest Games in Marietta, Georgia for the Store Championships that happened there on January 4th, 2015. It is now round 2, and on the left we have Randall playing as Blue Sun, who will be able to pick up a rezzed asset or upgrade or piece of ice and gain credits equal to his res cast at the beginning of his turn. Whereas on the right, we have Erickson playing as Exile, who will be able to draw a card every time he installs something from his heap. Exile, of course, not a terribly common runner these days, but Erickson has managed to build a deck that he's been working on for a long time now. He feels works pretty well, but we will see if it works well against Randall's Blue Sun here. Sounds like the players are happy with their hands, and we are going to get into the game. Legal sets for this series of matches is up through the source, so all the way through the lunar cycle. Randall takes his mandatory draw. Is he making a new server? Maybe, maybe not. Well, first he's going to hedge fund, get some money. Not a bad plan. Puts down an ice, and uses Oversight AI to res it. It is a Hadrian's Wall. Normally 10 credits to res, but only pay 1 to res with Oversight AI, with the condition that if it's broken, it goes in the trash. Erickson drawing up a bit and running on R&D. Looks like he sees a piece of ice. And plays a sure gamble when he's up some. And draws a bit and discards a Femme Fatale into the trash, which he might pick up later. We'll see. At the beginning of Randall's turn, he picks up that Hadrian's Wall for a free 10 credits. Ooh. And of course the Hadrian's Wall goes with his hand, not the trash. So he puts down a new server and installs something into it. No, he doesn't. He does indeed. And he advances it. Gauntlet Throne. Is it an agenda, though? It could be that Hadrian's Wall. Feeling confident that Erickson can't get through it. If it is an agenda. Erickson hits R&D again after drawing a couple times. Sees a power shutdown, it looks like. Doesn't have anything installed. Well, there's a Parisia. There you go. Parisia will let him trash some assets. I don't think Randall's terribly concerned about that, and advances that once. Is he going to advance it again? No, he will not. It might not be an agenda. Or he could be faking it out. Who knows? Welcome to Netrunner, where you don't know what anything is. Well, sometimes it feels that way. Mind games. Ices up HQ. Leaves R&D open. Erickson drops a Leprechaun. Ooh. And a Magnum Opus on top of it. And a Plastic Carapace, which is not a bad idea when you're playing against a Wayland ID. They do have Scorched Earth in faction. I mean, you aren't necessarily going to be playing against the Scorch deck, but if they're Wayland, you have to assume that Scorch is in the deck. It's too powerful not to use it. And Randall scores a hostile takeover out of hand. It only takes 2 advancements. He just installs, advance. Of course, that gives Erickson a bad pub to use. Erickson checks R&D, doesn't see anything interesting, just an ice wall. And draws up. And takes some money from Magnum Opus. Passes it back to Randall. I'm wondering what this advanced thing is under that remote server. What kinds of advanceable traps could Wayland have? Or it could be something outside of Wayland. Be crazy if it was like a June bug or something. Randall ices up. Whoop. Switcheroo. Ices up the server and R&D. No more free R&D runs. And pays 1 for that install. Mind games all over the place. Erickson doing a lot of drawing. It looks like he's having trouble finding what he needs. He does get a Scheherazade, and installs a fairy on top of it for a free credit. Scheherazade, a great program for just getting money for installing. Oh, and it was a reversed accounts. Randall reses that reversed accounts and activates it to make Erickson lose $4, which was all that he had. So now he is completely broke. And then uses the last 2 clicks to install and advance, creating a nice little scoring opportunity. Erickson only's got that fairy as an icebreaker. Chances are that at least one of those 2 ice is not a sentry. You'll typically want to put multiple types of ice over your scoring server to make sure that you have multiple breakers out, that force them to have multiple breakers out. Erickson instead drops the same old thing to be able to play events out of the trash. I don't think you get draws for that for Exile, but it's still nice. And maybe this is an agenda. Is this an agenda? Well, he doesn't advance it. He draws, ices up for more, and advances it once. Could this be another trap? I mean, that is a pretty heavily iced server. And poor Erickson doesn't really seem to be getting the things he needs. I mean, he's got the programs. He's got a feminine inti in the trash. He just needs to get the cards to let him install from the trash so he can take advantage of his ability. So he's got to get those test runs and clone chips and whatever else may be happening. Installs an astrolabe, which for all intents and purposes is just an extra MU. I don't know if Wayland is going to be making a bunch of new servers. And, oh, it is an agenda. It is a Project Atlas with 2 counters on it. Those 2 counters representing pretty much any card that Randall wants from his deck. So it could be 2 Scorches or 2 of anything he wants at any time. Having 2 counters on that is extremely powerful. You can consider that kind of like a 7-card hand where the 2 extra cards are whatever you want. And Erickson scavenges the Parisia to get the Inti. Onto that Scheherazade, getting a credit. But Inti is not a great breaker at all. Inti, at least these days, is mostly just anti-wraparound. You're not really going to want to spend Inti to break, say, Hadrian's Wall, which we saw earlier. There's a Cerberus. That would be a lady, that is. That's a lot better at breaking barriers. But, again, it's in the trash for now. Randall installs and advances. I imagine that probably is an agenda. Erickson has, he decides to run the server and runs into an Enigma and loses a click because he does not have a code gate breaker. And that will put a damper on things. Erickson decides to pull out a test run and installs the Fem from Archives, getting himself a draw and a buck from Scheherazade. And using that bad pub and a credit bypasses. Randall at 13 credits will be able to res almost anything. And Erickson at 7. And there's that Hadrian's Wall from the beginning of the game. 7 strength barrier. And, Erickson's not going to be able to get through that with Inti. That is too bad. And then Randall picks it right back up for money and scores out a geothermal fracking. Is that 5 points? This is not looking good for our Exile friend. Poor Erickson. This is not going well. It seems like he's just not getting the cards he needs. And then again, Randall just seems to be getting exactly what he needs at the right time. And Erickson runs R&D and face plants into another Enigma. He's saying that this is not a great first impression for the Exile deck to the camera. Which, it's okay, Erickson. I still like you. Randall pulls back the Enigma, gets 3 credits, uses a token to get another Project Atlas, and with a Biotic Labor, he is able to score that out of hand, and that is game over. A quick game for Randall and Erickson for round 1. Erickson feels very sorry. Shame upon his family. Let's have a moment of silence for poor Erickson. It's okay. Well, good game, and they've got another one loaded up, ready to go. So thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll bring you guys game 2 of round 2 pretty soon, and I'll see you guys next time.